Testing, 1, 2.
Testing.
Testing.
Can they hear us online?
Yeah, a little bit louder. Testing, testing.
Everybody use your outside voices.
I will try my best.
Testing.
It's 7 o'clock, Madam Mayor, whenever you're ready.
Madam Clerk, you may begin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The time is now 7 p.m. I'd like to call this regular Township Council meeting to order. Roll call. Councilwoman Perone.
Present.
Councilman Anderson will be 5 minutes late tonight. Councilwoman McIntosh.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy.
Present.
Mayor Whitfield.
Present.
Thank you. I'd now like to bring up Reverend Vanessa Wilson from the Church of Good Shepherd to lead us in prayer.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Let us quiet our hearts and minds as we center ourselves in this space. Gracious and eternal God, tonight we lift to you our mayor, town council members, and all municipal leaders and employees. Grant them wisdom beyond their years, clarity in their decision-making, and compassion in their service. Protect them as they navigate complex challenges and represent the people entrusted to their care. Surround them with wise counsel, discerning hearts, and an unwavering commitment to justice and equity. Lord, guide every word spoken and every decision made in this place tonight. Let unity prevail over division, purpose over politics, and service over self-interest. Guide all who lead so that Willingboro may flourish as a place of peace and its residents and community have good health and abundance. God's word reminds us in Micah 6:8, He has told humanity what is good and what the Lord requires. Do justice, embrace mercy, and walk humbly before your God. May this be the compass by which our leaders walk in justice, mercy, and humility. We ask this in the name of the Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. And we all say, Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Wilson.
Please rise for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Compliance
Compliance.
statement. Notice was provided in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 to the Burlington County Times, Trenton Times, and Philadelphia Inquirer stating the date, time, place, and the agenda to the extent it was known. Additionally, notice was filed in the office of the Township Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome to our meeting tonight. We have a number of things on our agenda for this evening, but first we would like to start by acknowledging Pride Month for the 2025 year. Councilwoman McIntosh, will you read that proclamation?
Of course. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Proclamation recognizing June as LGBTQ+ month, Pride Month. Whereas the month of June is recognized across the United States and around the world as LGBTQ Pride Month, commemorating the anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising of 1969 and honoring the ongoing fight for justice, equality, and visibility for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and all gender diverse people. And whereas LGBTQ individuals have made and continue to make immeasurable contributions to our communities, our nation, and the world in every field of endeavor, including education, medicine, the arts, business, public service, and the military. And whereas we acknowledge the courage, strength, and resilience of the LGBTQ community in the face of discrimination, violence, and inequality, and we reaffirm our commitment to building a world where all people are free to live authentically and with dignity. And whereas Pride Month is an opportunity for all people to celebrate love, diversity, self expression, and solidarity, and to reflect on the progress that has been made and the work that remains in achieving full equality for all. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Samantha E. Whitfield, Mayor of the Township of Willingboro, on behalf of the Council and the citizens of Willingboro Township, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2025 as LGBTQ plus Pride Month in Willingboro Township, and encourage all citizens to recognize and honor the history, contributions, and ongoing struggles of the LGBTQ community, to support the LGBTQ rights and inclusion, and to stand against hate in all its forms. Let this month be a time of celebration, education, and action as we strive together for justice, love, and equality for all. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman McIntosh. All right, as we continue on with our meeting, I will turn the meeting to Mr. Harris for our overview of ordinances and resolutions.
Good morning or good evening, Mayor, members of the council, members of the public. You want the update or you want to go into the?
Point
Oh,
of
yes,
order.
let's start with the update.
Point of order, Mayor. Mr. Harris, can you speak directly into the mic? This way your voice can project in the room better. This way we don't hear complaints from the people
Absolutely.
watching virtually. I can hear you, but
Absolutely. I just wanted clarification from the mayor, but okay, thank you. So first, we're going to begin our updates with the report from Mr. Russ Chipola, who is our municipal engineer, on our current projects going on here in Willingboro.
Good evening, Mr. Sapola.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Good evening, Deputy Mayor, members of council, and Township Solicitor. Thank you for having me this evening. I would like to start off with the Performing Arts Center.
And Mr. Sapola, if you can speak right into the microphone.
Sure. How's that? That might be better. Is that good?
That's
Better?
much better.
Okay, thank you. If I deviate, let me know. Okay, he said that all the overhead work is complete. The floor painting is either almost done or complete. The seats are on schedule to come in on Monday, June 9th, and immediately thereafter, we're going to be installed by the work crew, and they expect 2 to 3 days to install the seats. We are still waiting on a revised quotes from the GC Levy Construction for electrical and fire protection services. Last week, I inspected the condition of 2 baseball fields on Van Skyver Parkway, in addition to the concession stand at that location. I provided a report of my findings and recommendations to Mr. Harris, Township Manager, and Department of Public Works will be pricing out the improvements, and I will assist if needed in any way that they deem necessary. We have 2 municipal aid applications that need to be signed off by yourself, the mayor, and the clerk in the NJDOT PMRS system, and they are for Eastgate and East Lanes, Marigold and Tallwood Lane, and Rose Street. We received 2 quotations for the Babbitt Lane Stormwater Basin Rehabilitation. They are from Remington and Vernick Engineers and CME and Associates. Pannoni and T&M Engineers declined to submit. I will review the proposals as this week as time permits. I've gotten 2 prices from I got a price from 2 manufacturers for speed humps that I talked about in previous meetings. One company is called Traffic Logics, and the other is called Rubber Form. Both the pricing are about the same, $55,500 each per speed hump plus shipping. I'm also going to review the budget expenditures with Mr. Harris if we can install a couple of these or 4 of these on the Evergreen Avenue location near the school. I also met on Monday with Ms. Janice Peppers of Lee's Cleaning, and I received a list of items and their costs to remodel both hallway bathrooms and the fitness room bathroom at the Kennedy Center. She has to give me some revised prices that need to be clarified before I can prepare an RFQ to go out for advertisement. Last week, I also met with the county's consultant, GPI, the county traffic personnel, police, and New Jersey Transit for a study to make vehicular and pedestrian safety, to improve vehicular and pedestrian safety and injuries on Sunset Avenue. We will receive a final report for that in 6 weeks with the recommendations of various improvements to reduce the number of vehicular traffic accidents and pedestrian fatalities. There is a significant amount of pedestrian fatalities on that stretch of road, and that is between Veterans Parkway and, oh boy, it's terrible, Salem Avenue.
Road.
I still
Salem
can't hear. Okay, sorry. I'm asking you, Madam Mayor, if you can please remember, if you haven't already done so, to sign off on the Buckingham Drive PMRS system. The only reason why I'm saying is because we can't move any further to get a construction going on that and get my pre-construction meeting. Thank you very much in advance of that. T&M Associates has started on their work for Edge Lane construction. They've collected a list of homeowners and tax map info, and I will have a set of preliminary drawings by the end of this week, and we'll meet with them to go over to verify all their proposed work that will be done on that project. For the past week, I have been asking Diamond Construction for a restart date for finishing the punch list items at the fitness court. I've sent emails and had conversations over the past week, but to no avail. I've discussed this with Mr. Harris, and he knows that this is also delaying the equipment installation and the ribbon cutting ceremonies by the National Fitness Campaign. So I'll have additional meetings with him probably this week to see the next steps we have to do to get this work done, alternately without Diamond Construction. And also, we have a revised estimate for the iBank construction projects. We had originally had 7.5 million requested in the bond ordinance. I have reduced that down to 4.5 million and reduced the number of streets. So respectfully request that we take a look at that to see if we can move forward with that for the projects. And that is all I have. Is there any questions for anybody?
Any questions from council? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Chipola.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chipola. Next, I'm going to call Ms. Jackson to give us an update as to the activities happening in Willingboro.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Jackson.
So May was Mental Health Awareness Month, but we are still focusing on mental health. On this Friday, June 6th, we will be co-hosting line dancing for mental health, and that will be line dancing by Kenny J. That will be held on Friday at the Kennedy Center from 6 to 9. Members of the Divine Nine are invited to wear their paraphernalia, but all are invited, and the cost for that is $15. And then on Saturday, June 7th, we will be hosting the 10th Annual Youth Fishing Challenge. That will be held at Crystal Lakes. The event will be held from 8 a.m. until noon, and registration is encouraged. On Thursday, next Thursday, June 12th, all invited to Kona with a Cop. Join us for free Kona ice treats, giveaways, and an opportunity to chat with our Willingboro Police Department. And then on next Friday, all invited to a special Friday Night Live music series, which will also include or feature line dancing by Kenny J. And we'll be hosting a line dancing party for the entire community. All are invited. We're going to get our boots on the ground and meet at the amphitheater on Friday, June 13th at 7 p.m. So as always, residents are encouraged to arrive early, reserve a good spot and to bring their own chairs. We welcome your own food, but we will have a food truck available, so more information regarding that will be shared. A reminder that the Country Club pool is now open on the weekends from 11 to 5 and will be on weekends only until June 28th when we begin our daily operations. All are invited to our Juneteenth celebration, which will be held on Saturday, June 21st from noon to 4 at Mill Creek Park. And just looking ahead, we want you to save the dates of Saturday, July 19th for our annual Borough Barbecue, and then on Sunday, August 10th for our 42nd annual Jazz Fest. And last but not least, we want to encourage you to exercise your right to vote. Early voting is underway, and we want to encourage our residents to take advantage of the opportunity to vote at the Willingboro Public Library now until Sunday, June 8th. And of course, primary election day will be held on Tuesday, June 10th. Thank you. Any questions? All right. Can you hear me? Am I good?
We're
Okay.
good. Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. And I did forward my summary report to the council, but I will just share some of the information that was in the report for the public's benefit. So our departments continue to collaborate and work smoothly to make sure our community operations and engagement across Willingboro are happening and as effectively and efficiently as we can. Our Willingboro Police Department, they marked National Police Week from May the 11th through May the 17th with several community and regional engagements. The department commanded officers participated in the J.A. Montgomery Risk Management Session that was held in Collingswood, and the team also attended the County Chiefs meeting and the Fallen Officers Memorial in West Hampton, continuing their commitment to professional development and regional collaboration. Our Fire and EMS department, we briefly reported at the last meeting that the Willingboro Fire Department, along with the Red Cross, conducted a fire safety campaign in Rittenhouse Park on the 17th, where they visited 200 homes and installed 49 smoke detectors. It was a highly successful public safety effort. On May the 18th, the fire police supported the Armed Forces Freedom Ride, which involved over 700 motorcycles traveling to the Joint Base McGuire Dix Lakehurst, providing essential traffic control. Crews also participated in the township's Memorial Day services in Mill Creek Park that was held on May the 26th, and I thank all of the residents that came out and supported and gave homage to those who sacrificed their lives for our freedoms, and I thank you, council members, for your support as well. A special note of appreciation goes to firefighter Michael Centrone, who did retire this past Friday after 19 years of service to Willingboro, 11 years as a full-time firefighter, 8 years as a volunteer, and his dedication is truly appreciated. The department is also preparing for the 2025 Youth Fire Academy with applications open for youth aged 13 to 17, and Engine 1612 still remains out of service due to mechanical issues. The repair company anticipates that it will take about 12 weeks to get the equipment or the piece that they will need to make that repair. So Chief Burnett does have alternate solutions in place until we get that unit back up and running. Our Public Works Department, members of our Public Works Department will be taking pesticide training class, which will allow them to apply certain pesticides to vegetation in public areas. Unfortunately, the training was postponed due to the instructor being in an accident. However, they continue to progress successfully in other areas of their operations, namely their DPW pole barn, which was dismantled between May 21st and the 23rd. And they are still moving forward on projects which include sidewalk and concrete repairs, landscaping, fencing repairs, and the installation of yellow fence caps at the baseball fields. As Mr. Chipola said, we are also in the early stages of doing renovations at the concession stand at the Van Sciver Ball Field and looking to do remedial work at Harrison Field. Along with that, you may have noticed that we have begun installing some new municipal signs in the community. Last year, the council did appropriate some monies to replace some signage. We did do a poll, and what you are seeing is the chosen results from the community. So I hope they are pleasing to everyone. From our inspections and zoning department, they are addressing multiple code and zoning challenges. Businesses using C boxes on site have been cited. And additionally, commission to serve church was cited for unauthorized vehicles and a parking trailer. They also received a zoning board application they submitted a zoning board application and are being guided through the approval process, although I'm not exactly aware of what they are seeking approval for. A large concern is the trend of new businesses opening without proper zoning approval, and our construction officials and zoning officers are working together to curb this issue. And finally, the department is also working on codifying a special events ordinance. There has been a certain entity in town that is utilizing special events improperly, and we noted that the ordinance was never properly codified in our ordinances, in our code book. So we are creating an ordinance to have that properly codified and then enforced. In our recreation department, they have been very active hosting events like the Friday Night Music Series and hosting DMV appointment days in conjunction with the Senior Center. The department is especially proud of June Green, who was a former tennis participant who began at age 4 and has now gone pro. And we feel this is a wonderful reflection on some of the programming that does come through here, through us in Willingboro. In preparation for the summer, camp furniture has been delivered, and the Legacy Treatment Services did drop off the community library box, which is going to hopefully be finally authorized by resolution this evening. On a not so happy note, we have made a determination to suspend operations at Pennypacker Pool for the summer months. The pool is experiencing very serious leakage to the volume of twice that it was last year, and we did not feel it was fiscally or environmentally responsible to allow that condition to continue to exist. So we will not be operating Pennypacker Pool this summer, but the Country Club Pool will be in full operation. Looking ahead, Recreation is also planning its Girl Power Field Day, which is going to be held on June 14th. And a recent coaches meeting showed strong enthusiasm for the event, which aims to expose girls to a variety of sports in a supportive environment. Our Community Affairs Department continues its outreach with planned discussions on New Jersey property tax relief for seniors and mental health services for senior veterans. They also expanded their wellness offerings, and a balance of exercise class has been added to the weekly schedule. And as always, free nutrition workshop is being held on Tuesday at 12:30, featuring healthy food tasting and kitchen gadgets to encourage better lifestyle habits among residents. And although we have other departments who were not included in this report this evening, our information technology, we do have an RFP out for managed IT services that is due back on the 6th. We have our food pantry study RFP, which is also closing on the 6th. But our communications, safety, security, Register of Vital Statistics, they are continuing their operations as part of the township's ongoing infrastructure, and I will have a more detailed report on their operations at our meeting on June the 17th. And that is my summary report for this evening.
All right, thank you, Mr. Harris. Any questions on Mr. Harris's report? Councilwoman Braun.
Thank you. I didn't hear you mention the summer camp program that typically the camp whatchamacallit. I didn't hear that in your report, and I'm asking about that because I did get I received a phone calls regarding that summer camp program, which my children both attended when they were younger. My oldest daughter was also a volunteer and a camp counselor. But I heard that the program is being changed or something to do with the effect of the extended school year suggestion that Councilman, Deputy Mayor Whitfield came up with, whereby the school district, because they're going under construction, would not be able to hold their extended school year programs in their buildings. So it was my understanding that we would open up some of our building space to allow them to have their extended school year program. So I wanted to see if you can clear up my understanding to that. Is that what's happening? Because I was told you're trying to merge the two. Is that true?
So yes, Camp Whatchamacallit is now being referred to as Camp Fun and Son. And as previously discussed, we did meet on several occasions with the school board to incorporate an educational enrichment program or portion in summer recreation. So the students will come in the morning, they will spend a few hours in summer enrichment, and then they will participate in regular summer recreation activities.
So why did you change the name?
The name has been changed for a number of years. It's been Fun and Sun for,
It used to be,
This is the first
it
year?
used to be Whatchamacallit.
It was Camp Whatchamacallit for a
Right.
year. All right, so
well, but
it's-
it's not a combination of the extended school year,
That's
and
fair.
the township didn't have the space available to allow for the number of students that the school district serves during their extended school year program
Mhm.
to be able to house all of that in our township buildings.
So how is it going to work out? Because, well, one, here's my concerns. Number one, the extended school year are for students that actually attend Willingboro School District. And for those that maybe need the extended school instructional learning curriculum. And then Camp Whatchamacallit is a recreational summer camp program that the township financially supports. The other thing I heard is that the township, you're considering paying $20,000 to the instructors of the teachers coming over. Is that true as well?
That is correct.
So so I have an issue with that because this township, we voted already to take a lot of money from the taxpayers and we paid it to the school district already. So I find it unfair that we're taking additional money to pay for the school district and we've already paid over and a bond. Okay, we're supporting the restructuring of the building structure. I love the fact to opening up our buildings, to have the students have the extended school year. I think we're getting too involved with the curriculum and the school district, and it should not be a merged program. It's two different programs. The Camp Whatchamacallit functions and have been functioning for years, and it's an activity program. It's not a curriculum type of it's not a curriculum. Camp Whatchamacallit is not curriculum for academics. Let me say that. And extended school year is. So, how did you get to the point where you've now intervened with the summer camp program? Because that's basically what I've received the calls about. That and who attended the meeting? Who was at the meeting?
And Councilwoman Perone, we did have a discussion about this on council. It was a few meetings ago where we discussed adding an educational component into our summer camp program. And the council unanimously voted to support that. So we did discuss it as a council meeting, and this was a directive that came from council that the township is now executing. There were a number of people at the meeting, myself, Dr. Worthy, Mr. Harris, Mr. Lowry, Ms. Bolden, Mr. Brunson, a number of folks from the school district as well, school board members, as well as their administration, to talk about logistics and marketing of the program. But it was discussed at a council meeting, and we authorized recreation and the administration to move forward as a council.
Okay, so I haven't missed any council meetings. I think maybe one this year.
No, you were there.
I was there, right. I
Yeah.
know, and I remember the discussion. The discussion, to my understanding, was that they didn't have a space. We were going to look into, there was going to be a separate meeting outside of the council meeting. Mayor Worthy, Deputy Mayor Worthy was the spearheading that. meeting with the school district to find space, not interfering with the program that's already existing. Like the Camp Whatchamacallit is a program in itself. But again, the concern is extended school year are for students that have certain academic struggling needs. Summer camp, parents put their children in summer camp to get a break for those who don't really need additional extra curriculum, you know. So I think we're getting too busy into the administrative business again. And that's what's happening again. Like we don't run the summer camp program in Willingboro. That program is under the recreational department, and the recreation department is under Mr. Harris, not by the council. So I'm concerned about what's happening right now as far as the students' attendance, because again, not every child goes to extended school year, and not all the children attend Willingboro. So Camp Whatchamacallit is open not only to Willingboro students, but any student that's interested, the family putting them into the program. So it's getting very, the way I'm seeing it from where I sit, it's getting very messy. And again, back to our roles and responsibility as council members, we're stepping into administrative business, and we're not supposed to create a summer camp program. That's what Mr. Harris does. That's what the recreation department does. That's what his staff on board is doing. Not for us to change it, not for us to come up with different names, not for us to hire the school district, pay them additional salaries when we already pay them. See how it starts getting real messy? So I don't see how this is okay.
So for clarity, we're not paying the school, we are paying the individuals who are being hired as part-time summer rec employees. And they will be teaching the summer enrichment program.
Oh, okay. So I thought the teachers,
They're not
extended school
teachers
years-
from the school. This is, just for clarity, this is not the extended school year program, nor is it a mesh of the extended school year program and the summer camp. We as council discussed and agreed to add a small educational component to the summer program that we host.
Okay, so the extended school year,
This is not
Willingboro,
extended school
okay,
year.
because Willingboro does have an extended school year.
They traditionally, they do have an extended school year program, but that program will not be happening this year.
Okay, so they're not doing the program.
No,
I
ma'am.
think Deputy Mayor wants to add.
To wait till the mayor.
I'm just trying to understand.
No, I'm-
Deputy Mayor Worthy.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. So as the mayor stated, the extended school year program is not happening this summer due to the construction that will be happening in some of the school buildings. The response that the school district has created, because they're not doing ESY, is a Chimera in the Community Initiative, where they're going to be going to Boydo Park, they're going out to Christie Park, they're going to be in the LRC at JFK, they'll be at the Willingboro Public Library, and they're going to be offering academic enrichment in those different places on different days. They publish their schedule. And so they're going to be doing those events throughout the summer because they're not doing ESY this year. The recreation program with Willingboro Recreation will include an academic enrichment portion. That conversation started before the bond referendum was even passed. I asked for a discussion about our students in Willingboro School District and their academic performance, and what could we do as a community to respond. And that conversation came in response to the school district, state of the district, where I learned that 20% of the students in Willingboro School District are reading on or above grade level, and only 12% of our students in Willingboro School District are on or beyond grade level for math. And with that data from that, is where the conversation began with what can we do more as a community? Are there academic components that we can include for enrichment, some reading, maybe some decoding during the summer to help the students, since they're coming to a recreation program. Recreation includes sports, knowledge, education, hobbies. Like recreation is it's not just playing around. Recreation, a large part of it, in many communities, also includes an education component. And so this was just an idea that I brought back to the council. The council supported that. So I didn't write the curriculum for this summer. I've never written the curriculum for Willingboro summer program. This was an initiative from council, just like rec had STEAM components. They've run STEAM camps. They've done other components that include education. This was really in response to the data that was most recently provided by the superintendent of schools at the state of the district, that we have a burning platform to try to make sure that we're giving our students more access to education. And that's what this is. This is not the ESY.
So thank you for clearing up that it's not the ESY program, because that's, to my understanding, that they have their own curriculum already and their own structure. But back to the summer camp, whatchamacallit, which is what it's been for years, they already have their program. So that program was already budgeted in when we approved the budget for this year. So all of their events, just like the Jazz Festival, which is outrageous, but just like all the other events, the White Party, it's already budgeted. So when you say you're going to hire teachers or staff to run, or counselors for the program, who was running it before? Weren't they already being paid? Weren't they already our staff? What people are you saying that that you need additional $20,000 for, that is not already included in the budget that we already voted for? Mr. Harris?
So you say that it's not included in the budget. It is in the budget.
No, what I'm saying is whatever you've asked for, the figure you asked for the recreation department, right? To run the recreation department, which means all of the events and activities that they do for the year.
Correct.
Camp Whatchamacallit was a part of that, yes?
Correct.
Okay, so to my understanding, you need an additional $20,000. That's what you said.
No, that's not what I
Okay,
said.
so-
You asked if we were paying that to hire teachers. Yes, we are.
Okay, so you're paying that to hire teachers. Explain the hire teachers part to me.
So there are teachers who are going to do the educational component in the summer recreation camp. So just as we go and we hire tennis coaches and pool people and all of these summer recreation program personnel, we are also including hiring 6 teachers to handle the academic
Academic part.
enrichment portion of that program.
Well, that's what I mean, Mr. Harris. Why can't the school district pay the teachers? They've already received money for the extension. If they're not having the entire program, and I get that they can't operate the entire program, but my thing is, they have funding to pay the teachers for extended school year. Why aren't they paying them, even if it is going to be in the JFK Center?
This is not an extended school year program.
Madam Mayor, can I add? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Um,
Deputy Mayor.
I asked the same question, Councilwoman Perrone. Mr. Harris and I did as well. And we met with Dr. Lewis, the school district's business administrator. It's based on, the reason why they can't use their funding is because the way the school district's dollars are allocated based on the state, whatever their rules are. We've got our rules governing us. They've got their rules governing them. If the program isn't happening on their grounds, in their facilities, they're not able to use their dollars to cover the programming. It
Okay.
also had to do with the insurance, because the school teachers, if we hire Willingboro School District teachers, and they're part of Willingboro School District, but they're working at the township, and something were to happen, there's an incident to get hurt, anything go wrong, it also was an issue of insurance. And so we went through that with Dr. Lewis. He actually went back to get further clarification, given the situation they're in, where their buildings literally aren't open, to find out if there were any other accommodations or ways for them to pay. It wasn't that they didn't want to pay or they're unwilling to pay, or that wasn't the issue. They can't do it based on the rules, based on their budget. And that's how we ended up in a discussion with, if we hire teachers, whether they be from Willingboro School, wherever they come from, hire people who can help with helping to close some of the skill gaps and provide some academic enrichment, which sometimes is who you hire during the summer and sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're hiring high school students. Sometimes you're able to find a teacher during the summer to work. But that's why the school district isn't funding it.
I just know that when I was in school, summer school was like a punishment. So if you did not do what you needed to do in this regular school year, that's where you had to go. And so I'm okay with extended school year. We want to have a separate program. Again, I think the summer camp, let summer camp be summer camp. And it is about swimming and having a good time and playing.
The-
The academics, it sounds like a separate part that you want to incorporate. All the students are not failing.
But-
Do they need?
But
additional help?
Councilwoman
I think
Perron,
it'd be a
part
separate
of this
program.
conversation had come up because only 20% of the students are performing at or above grade level in reading and only 12% in math. So this is a response, and I understand that maybe not all students need enrichment, but there is data that supports that there is a summer slide that happens for students between when they get out in June and when they go back in September of knowledge that is lost. This is a short period of time. This is maybe only 2 hours,
Right.
an hour or
This
two.
is their
of-
vacation. All
This
I'm
is
saying
an hour
why
or
don't
two of enrichment. And if you are against enriching and helping our Willingboro students to excel over the summer and be prepared to go back to school and without losing knowledge over the summer, if you are against that, then I think that's fair, that's okay to say. But what we had agreed to as the council when we had this discussion previously, that we would support our students by adding an academic component to our summer camp. They will still be doing all of the fun stuff for the majority of the day. They will be swimming, they will be doing arts and crafts, they will be playing games, they will be doing trips.
Yeah.
They will be having all of that summer fun, but there will be a reading and math component.
Right. So what I'm saying to you is, this information came from the staff. You are, they are running this program. You, as the council, have decided you want to be the.
You were a part of that
I'm
decision.
telling you, I received the calls. I'm telling you.
And I'm telling
And
you,
I'm
you
also-
were a part of that
also-
decision.
Also, the parents. I'm explaining to you.
Thank you for your
I'm
concern.
explaining to you.
Thank you for
what
your
I heard.
concern, Councilwoman
In
Perron.
addition to my
Councilwoman
question,
Perron, thank you for
why
your concern.
why can't you have, if you're going to pay additional $20,000, have a separate program, ESY, it's a call it whatever you want to call it, that's separate, do the enrichment, have a survey of which students from the school district actually need this help, run it, do it. Don't interfere with the camp, whatchamacallit, changing the name, changing what's already existing, and all of that. Make it a program, help them, but separate it.
I love
Thank you, Councilwoman Perron, for your concern. Deputy Mayor Worthy.
I think that's great. I love that idea. In fact, that's exactly what we talked about during early on in the discussions with the school district, where what we ran up against was a space issue. There were, I think it was about 400 or 500 students that participated in ESY, and we looked at even using all of our spaces across the township, even if we use the training room at the firehouse, even if we use all the spaces in the JFK building, we wouldn't have enough space to actually house their ESY program, which was another contributing factor as to why we said, okay, we can include academic enrichment, and it should be included anyway, but we can include that in what we're doing, but we can't house an entire ESY, and the township didn't have the budget to be able to hire enough teachers for 500 or 600 students for
It's
ESY.
not a school
program.
district.
Right, so that's why we're not running ESY.
All right. Thank you for that discussion.
Yeah.
If you have any further questions, you can follow up after.
Well, I
this
do have
meeting.
another,
Well,
I
if
do
you
have
have
an
any,
additional question and concern about that matter. Okay.
well,
The-
we've already discussed that matter
Yeah,
for
well-
15 minutes, Councilwoman Perron. If you have any further questions or comments on that, you can reach out to myself, the deputy mayor, or Mr. Harris.
My question is, will this program be free? Free, Free. Are the students free? Because extended school year is free. You've taken enough time.
And as I've said before,
School district.
and as I've said
taking
before,
additional
Councilwoman Perron, this
programs.
is not an
How-
extended school year program. This
How
is
much
Camp
is
Sun
the
and
program?
Fun, and
How
it
much is
has
the
the
program?
regular rate
Question
of
for
our
Mr.
summer.
Harris. How much is for each student to pay, Mr. Harris?
So I believe our fees for summer recreation is $180.
$180
That's what we charge for.
per child. Think
Yes.
about that.
That is what we charge for summer
You're
camp.
You're overstepping. Continue.
That is
Thank
what we charge for summer camp.
you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perron. Mr. Harris, I'd like to move on to the resolution review, please.
So being presented for you this evening is ordinance number 2025-10 for introduction, which is an ordinance to add a chapter introducing second-story deck and balcony restrictions in all residential zones to the code of the Township of Willingboro. Ordinance number 2025-11 is an ordinance to introduce a new chapter regulating convenience stores, their operating hours, their proximity proximity and restrictions in the code of the Township of Willingboro. For public hearing and final adoption, ordinance number 2025-9, which is an ordinance to establish compensation, benefits, and other policies for non-union employees, unclassified employees, and elected officials of the Township of Willingboro. Resolutions that are being presented this evening, resolution number 140 is a resolution authorizing the approval of vouchers for payment and ratification. Resolution number 144 is a resolution authorizing the Township of Willingboro to place municipal charges on certain properties for failing to address property maintenance violations. Resolution number 142 is a resolution authorizing a refund for overpayment of taxes. Resolution 143 is a resolution approving a change order or change order number 1 and the final closeout with Seacoast Constructions Incorporated for the Eagle Lane Drainage Improvement Project. Resolution number 144 is a resolution to amend the adopted budget for additional items of revenue, which is a Chapter 159 insertion of a $1 million grant that we received last year for improvements to the senior center. Resolutions 145, 146, 147, 148, and 149, we are going to ask they've been withdrawn from your considerations this evening. And then we will go on to resolution 150, which is a resolution authorizing the award of contract for proprietary data processing software to maintain the Citizens Request Management, or the CMR. That is the GoGov system that we've been utilizing. Resolution number 151 is a resolution of the Township of Willingboro appointing members to various boards and commissions. Resolution 152 is a resolution to accept a Little Free Library donation from Legacy Treatment Services to be installed at Broydell Park. And those are all the resolutions in your consideration this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. The time has now come for public comment on agenda items only. This public comment is for agenda items only. You will have 2 minutes. Please state your name and address when you would like to speak. Either raise your hand online or come up to the podium in the courtroom. Public comment is now open. Is there any public comment online? Sarah Holly.
Sarah Holly, 9 Tioga Lane. My first problem is, before we used to be able to see inside the office, inside the council meeting, and especially be able to track our time, our clock, because I don't trust you people to clock the time. Now, instead of us being able to see inside the meeting, all we get is a black screen. And I'm speaking on this because Mr. Harris talked about IT service. So I'm suggesting that you go back so that the residents can look inside of the council meeting. And I know you're doing this because the last time I was on, I complained about you all stealing my time. My next comment has to do with Councilwoman Peron's comment. I spent 15 years on the Board of Education, and I'm a retired teacher, okay? So the $20,000 that you're paying people for the summer program, one, Mr. Harris, I want to know if it was in the budget, because it seems as though these are new positions. It was not the original budget. It wasn't the original budget that you presented.
Ms. Holly, this
Yes.
is for
Samantha.
agenda.
Yes, Samantha, what?
It's Mayor Whitfield, and this is
No, it's Samantha right now, because you're not civil. You're not civil, and I'm not going to be civil tonight.
Ms. Holly,
Samantha.
public comment is for agenda items only.
That was agenda item. I was speaking on agenda item. I'll be back.
Thank you. Seeing no further public comment is now closed. I didn't hear any questions that needed to be addressed during this time. The screen and IT functioning is functioning properly. It's been confirmed by administration that it is live. You can see the picture of the courtroom and the clock is clearly visible on the screen. If you would like to come to the meetings in person, that is always an option to attend the meetings in the courtroom in person.
Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Pearl.
What's happening is when the speaker, because I got other people have called about this, called me directly about it, but when the speaker comes on to speak, you see how the screen becomes split? When we can see the person talking, it's black, and you see us, we can see that. On their end, they only see a black screen in their name.
Oh, okay. So then that would be a user error and they would have to adjust their settings.
Well, so she didn't have to do it before. So something happened differently.
It may have been how she was logging in, but it is visible on the screen. So it may be user error.
We can see it, but on their end, they're not able to see us anymore.
It may be
Yeah.
user error. That's what I'm saying. It may be user error in the settings of their Zoom.
But okay, so I'm just they didn't change anything since only thing that changed was the IT department. So before the IT department changed, their computer has not changed. Just wanted to bring that to your attention. She wasn't the only person that called me about that. They can't see the clock. They think that they can only see their name. So maybe it's something they can take away for the IT department to look into. But once they are appointed to speak, they can only see their names. They cannot see us anymore, and therefore they cannot see the clock.
And as we have just confirmed in the courtroom that it is live,
No,
even when there
when
is
you're
a speaker. Well, we will reconfirm that during public
Yeah,
comment.
the next public comment.
We will. Thank you, Councilwoman Prime.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on to the ordinances. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You have two ordinances for introduction tonight. Can I get a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-10 titled ordinance to add a chapter introducing second-story decks and balcony restrictions in all residential zones to the code of the Township of Willingboro?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Discussion? Councilwoman Prime.
So the idea is to restrict anyone from building a balcony on their own property.
Yes, we did have some resident come to public comment and speak. She also provided council with a number of pictures on a balcony that was placed on a residence that overlooks her property. You can see very clearly from that balcony that it does infringe on her privacy and could infringe on other residents' privacies. The inspections department did go back to take a look at this and create an ordinance to restrict the building of some of those second-story decks on particular lots in residential zones.
So I do remember when this particular resident came here, but to restrict the entire residents of Willingboro, everybody's property is not the same. So I'm concerned that we're making it for every home in Willingboro. And the the secondary part is, what about the people who already have their balconies already existing? With passing this ordinance, does that affect them? Do they now have to take it down and so forth? Can somebody speak to that?
Mr. Harris, would you be able to have Mr. Tunstall speak to this?
Mr. Tunstall, will you come and speak to this? Thank you.
Good evening, council.
Into
Good
the
evening,
mic.
Mr. Tunstall.
How about that?
Louder,
Louder?
closer.
All right. So your question is, does this impact individuals who currently have decks in place? The answer is no. This is going forward, all new construction only. And you can have a side balcony, but there are certain restrictions. You have to be on a corner lot or in an area where you do not overlook an adjacent property. So it is specific to those areas.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Tunstall. Any other discussion on this ordinance? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, the next ordinance I have for introduction today is Ordinance 11. Can I get a motion to introduce Ordinance 2025-11 titled an ordinance to introduce Chapter 130 regulating new convenience stores, operating hours, and proximity restrictions in the code of the Township of Willingboro.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Discussion. Councilwoman Perone.
So what was the nature of proposing these hours, and were there hours before? Were there any specific hours that the stores were operating?
There were restrictions on hours that were specifically made in the from the planning board agreements. This codifies the hours of operation for convenience stores as well as limits the proximity. As I stated at a previous meeting, we received a petition and we've had numerous requests for convenience stores, even some right across from each other, at the zoning board asking for zoning variances. The inspections department identified that as an issue, as well as residents. Over 200 residents signed and submitted a petition to the zoning board requesting that we add proximity limits to that. We've also gotten a number of complaints for the LED lights that are being placed on convenience stores around town, and this ordinance addresses that.
Well, we do currently have, I think it's 24-hour stores. So with this ordinance now, they're not going to be able to conduct their business. I know particularly there's one on where there's a gas station. It's right there on Beverly Rancocas on the corner of MLK. That store they have Tylenol. I mean, emergency things happen in the middle of the night. So to shut down the entire functions of a person's business that has been there making money, and now with this ordinance, you say they have to close at 10 o'clock, that is an inconvenience and a financial strike on their pockets. And Councilman Anderson shaking his head no. I don't know, do you have something to add? Maybe he has something to add.
My understanding of it is, if you already set up the 24-hour stores, it doesn't affect them.
Okay.
It's anybody new coming in. We don't want the town filled with bodega-like
Right.
entities.
Okay.
So yeah, if they're already 24 hours, it's 24 hours. It's just anyone new coming in.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
All yes.
You can continue, Madam Clerk.
All right, and then we have one ordinance for public hearing and final adoption. With that being said, I'd like to open the public hearing on ordinance number 9, titled Ordinance to Establish Compensation, Benefits, and Other Policies for Non-Union Employees, Unclassified Employees, and Elected Officials of the Township of Willingboro. Anyone wishing to come forward to comment on this ordinance only, please do so. Is there anyone online?
Sarah Holly. And again, my screen is black. I just have some questions, Mr. Harris, about this bill as it relates to elected officials and the benefits that they are receiving. At the last meeting, I questioned the benefits, the same salary increase as the employee, and Samantha did not tell the truth. She said that it did not affect the council members, but I have a copy of the ordinance, and it does in fact affect the council members' salary, and also they voted to increase the salary. So what she told me was not the truth. So I need further explanation, Mr. Harris, as to whether or not this affects the council members, if they're getting new health benefits, and also their salary increase for this the vote last week and last month, last council meeting and this council meeting. So I will expect an answer, a real answer, not the answer I got last month or last meeting.
Is there any other public comment?
Seeing none, I'd like to close public comment on this ordinance only. With that being said, can I get a motion to finally adopt ordinance 2025-9?
So
Well,
moved.
before we finally adopt, Mr. Harris, can you answer that public hearing statement?
So there is no additional health benefits related to the salary ordinance for any member of the governing body, and the council is receiving the exact same salary in 2025 that they received in 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. You may continue, Madam.
And I think it's fair to speak to the people online. We are taking care of what we did learn, that there is a black screen when you're speaking. So IT is currently looking into changing that. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you, Councilwoman Prime. Madam Clerk?
Can I get a motion and second to finally adopt ordinance 2025-9?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Dr. Worthy. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
You may continue on to the resolutions. Are there any resolutions that anyone would like to pull from a consent agenda? I think it's only one. Okay. Seeing none? Seeing none, I make a motion for a consent agenda for resolution 2025-140 through 2025-152.
Second.
Yes.
I just asked for that.
Huh?
I just asked if there was anything that you'd like to pull from a consent agenda.
I thought you were talking amongst yourself, but I did ask that resolution 145, 146, 147, 148, and 149 be removed from consideration.
Okay. So I'd like to retract that motion,
I retract my second.
and I'd like to make a motion for a consent agenda for resolution 2025-140 through 2025-144 and 2025-150 through 2025-152.
Correct.
Moved by Mayor Whitfield, seconded by Councilwoman McIntosh. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh, Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
I need a motion to approve the consent agenda. Moved by, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman McIntosh. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh, Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the treasurer's report dated May 23rd, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh, Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes from May 20th, 2025? That is a regular meeting and an executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Deputy Mayor Worthy. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh, Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Madam Clerk, your updates.
Thank you. I apologize in advance. I'm a little stuffy. So it's officially election season. I know Ms. Jackson did mention it a little bit in her report, but early voting did start today over at the Willingboro Public Library. Polls will be open from now until Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and then Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. There will be no polls open on Monday, the 9th, and then primary election day is a week from today, Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, at 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. at all the regular polling locations, just like normal. The deadline to apply for a vote by mail-in ballot through the mail was today. However, if you'd still like to utilize the vote by mail-in ballot, you can go to the county. They're located at 301 Harper Drive in Morristown, New Jersey, and apply for one in person up until 3 p.m. on Monday, June 9th. That's election stuff. Annual mercantile license renewals are due on June 30th, 2025. Reminder letters will be sent out to all the businesses by the end of this week for their renewal for their 2025-2026 mercantile licenses. A digitization update. I have booked a tentative date with Fobionics to schedule to come and pick up our first phase of filing for digitization next Thursday, June 12th. It should take about 2 to 3 weeks to digitize, and then they'll bring all the files back on site. Before they leave, they're going to train my office on how to retrieve an Oprah if we need a document from them, because obviously the files will be off site. So they're going to train us on that before they leave. And then, like I said, they'll bring it back in 2 to 3 weeks, and we should be good to go. And that's just for phase one. Willingboro will be hosting a shred event on September 13th, 2025 at the public library from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'll have more details to come for that in the coming weeks. I'm going to work with communications to make a flyer. It will be open to the public, so stay tuned for that as well. And then since our last meeting, we have no new solicitor or peddler's licenses. It's just the same group of people. So Allied Experts has 2 people, Home Solutions has 1 person, Green Exterior has 1 person, Home Smart has 1 person, EcoShield has 11 people, Topline Roofing has 3 people. And a friendly reminder that if you do not want to be solicited at your household, you may file for a no-knock sticker through the clerk's office. This will give you a sticker to put on your door to let solicitors know not to come to your household. As well, it will put your address on a list that we give to the solicitors monthly, so they know not to solicit at your address. And you can do that online through our website, or you can come in person and do that. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any questions for the clerk? All right, seeing none, thank you. We do have one item for unfinished business. Mr. Harris, would you talk a little bit more about the Futura House MOU?
Yes, Mayor. Willingboro has a beautiful piece of history right here in Mill Creek Park by the name of the Futura House. The township wishes to enter into an agreement with the Willingboro Community Development Corporation to foster collaboration and efforts in restoring the Futura House to its full potential as a community landmark. So we would like to enter into an agreement where we will collaborate with the WCDC to secure grants, funding, and volunteer support necessary to advance this project. The township will retain control of the building. They will retain control of the project. They will make all final decisions regarding the building and the project, including those related to funding and potential scope of work. They will retain complete ownership rights to the project, and the WCDC would not be authorized to enter into any agreement on behalf of the township or bind the township with any of its actions. The WCDC would participate as supporting partner to assist the township in securing grants, fundraising, volunteer recruitments for the project. You know, they have certain volunteer and fundraising aspects, and we would utilize their previous experience with similar projects in a viable partnership to collaborate in developing a long-term revitalization plan. So we would ask that the council authorize the entering into this MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding, with the Willingboro Community Development Corporation, outlining everybody's roles and what our ultimate goal is in this project.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. So this MOU has been added to your packet for consideration. It has not been added as a resolution as of yet to authorize it. I did want to give everyone a chance to look over it. The main intention of this MOU is so that it gives the township some support in moving this project forward. I know the revitalization of the Futuro House has been a topic of discussion for a number of years. It is quite an eyesore in our beautiful Mill Creek Park that will be getting some other renovations this year. And this MOU will help us to speak with and onboard, recruit architects and folks that have already said they would be interested in assisting with this project, and give the CDC the ability to meet with some of those folks and help to set the parameters for the township to review and agree to. As I said, this is just for consideration, and if there are no objections, we will add it as a resolution on for the next meeting. Okay. I see no objections, so we'll move forward with that. Is there any new business?
Well,
Councilwoman Brown.
I have new business, but I'm not sure if, I think I had an unfinished business too. So the unfinished business, at our last council meeting, I had asked for Councilman Worthy to give us an update on the library. I understand that there was some material purchase for the library, and you're the liaison to the library. You said you would be able to give us a report on the library.
No, I didn't agree to that. What I said was I would contact the chairwoman of the library board for her or the library director to give an update. They are scheduled to give the update at the second meeting in June.
Thank you. So for new business, I've brought this up, although it's under new business, I've brought this up every single year. And I find that, again, you know, as an elected councilwoman of this township and a resident, you know, we take a lot. We take a lot from the people via taxes, and we do a lot with it. However, I don't feel like we give enough back. And I'm asking for this year, if you would support the idea of free swimming for residents. We've charged the residents to go to swim at the pools. It's 2 months out the year. I'm asking to see if I can get any support from the council members, whereby if you are a resident here, you get to swim for free. Does any council member will support that this summer?
Does anyone have any comments on that? Dr. Worthy.
Yes. I do know that the council supported free passes for the shelter board in the past for those residents to be able to swim for free. And I know the financial analysis was done so that they could see the financial impact of that. I'm still in support of that. I'm unaware of what the financial implications would be for free swimming this summer, being that it's just now being shared, that would be an initiative. I think that the administration would have to do the calculations to understand, you know, what the financial impact would be to be able to do that this summer.
Okay, so I've asked that every single summer, and I think some of the comments back was that, I remember Councilman McIntosh stated that it used to be free, and she remembers that, and there's tracking issues, and how do we track who lives here? So I'm not sure how, if you were not there at that meeting, Councilman Worthy, but we did talk about this last summer, and actually every summer. And what I'm saying is not free only to people who live in a special house. I'm speaking about the taxpayers of Willingboro. Can they swim for free? The people, and you have a list of their names because we have their names to collect the taxes, so we know who lives there, them and their children. You're already talking about $20,000 additional from the taxpayers, and then you're charging them additional $180 for summer camp. Can you allow free swim for the people, the residents of Willingboro? Do I have one council member that would support free swim 2025?
Councilwoman Perron, I appreciate your advocacy for the residents of Willingboro, as that is what all of us are up here and elected to do, to advocate for the benefit of the residents of Willingboro. But one thing that I would like to bring to your attention is that, just to clear a point of clarity, we're not asking for any additional money. Actually, the budget that we presented this year was another flat budget. So we're not asking for any additional money from Willingboro residents for this year. Even with the improvement to the summer program, that is not costing the taxpayers any additional dollars because there was no increase to the budget. I'd also would welcome any feedback from the recreation department on any effects that may have, allowing all residents to swim for free, what effects that may have on the recreation department and our aquatics program.
So again,
Councilwoman McIntosh.
Another point of clarification, as someone who did grow up here and the pools were free to school students, keep in mind that the schools were still run by grants, not tax dollars. That has since been, that's different now. We don't have the same grants. A lot of money has been withdrawn from this township. And those grant monies were used to fund. So it's never free. Nothing's free. But those monies were used towards the pool. We, after certain certain things happen in the township, we no longer receive those grants. So, and those were a nice chunk of money that was used to offset the cost. The cost was still there. The cost is still there, but we did in fact have grant money to offset that. So just, we still have to compare apples to apples. We no longer have that funding. That's why, we get a lot of feedback about the pools closing and all of that. That was before our time of being on council. And that was because grant funding was withdrawn from this township. So just want to keep that in mind as a data point.
yes, but the Jazz Festival is now at what, $120,000? Just for the Jazz Festival, that's one day. That Jazz Festival budget continues to go up and up and up. And nobody talks about we don't have a grant to put on the Jazz Festival. Yeah, we get a little bit of sponsorship, but you're taking the tax dollars, taxpayers' dollars, to have one day of fun for other people that don't even live in Willingboro. So again, you said everybody spoke, you're not going to support it this year, but please remember it for 2026 if you're still here. Think about giving back. Yes, it costs to run the pools, but you've taken so much already. The swimming pool is what, $5 a person? You can't say if you live here, guess what, your family gets to swim for free? Just think about giving back. That's all I have to say for it. Thank you. I do have another new, unfinished business.
We're on to new business now, Councilwoman.
New business. New business. Sorry, new business. I did receive a phone call, Mr. Harris. This is regarding the health insurance. I know we talked about this before, but the concerns of the few people of staff, their outstanding bills have not been paid. I understand you said it's the health insurance is great, but can you speak to that? Because bill pays have not been paid for over a year with regards to the plan that they're on currently.
So there are some instances where there have been some issues with payments. And our legal counsel is in concert or communication with their legal counsel, and those issues are being worked through.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. That concludes my comment.
Thank you, Councilwoman Peron. Is there any other new business?
Madam,
Deputy Mayor Worthy.
thank you, Madam Mayor. There was an oversight. I was supposed to talk to you about adding an update on the golf event. I know that's under finished, our, under old business. So I did want to see if council, if you would support going back to be able to talk about the update from the golf event, because that would have been under unfinished business, but I failed to bring that up.
But you said it's over, Madam Mayor. That's
Well,
what you
if it's over,
told
I'll
me.
bring it up
That's
during
what you
council
told me.
comment.
You said it's over.
I don't have a
I
problem.
didn't. You didn't even give me a
Well,
chance to
I'm
respond.
waiting. I'm listening. Listening.
That's new. Would you like for me to just defer to council comment? I'm fine with that.
Actually, I spoke earlier with Councilman Anderson, and I'll be adding some updates from and thank yous from the golf outing to my council comment. Councilman Anderson, will you also add any updates to your council comment? Thank you.
It's bonus. It's finished.
Great.
All right. If there's no new business, we'll move on to public comment. This public comment is the general public comment. You'll have 4 minutes to speak. Please speak. Please state your name and address when you come to the mic, or raise your hand online. Public comment is now open.
Good evening, Council. My name is Esther Turner, 3 Woodhaven Lane. This is going to be quick. I just wanted to know whether or not we had any clarity and updates in reference to whether or not the residents own their own property, or if it's owned by the township. This has come up several times, a couple of months, and if I can get some answers on that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. Is there any public comment online? Gail Fontaine?
Good evening, Council. Gail Fontaine, Niagara Lane. I apologize in advance if this notification was sent out, but this morning I drove to the entrance of Mill Creek Park and at 7:20, and there was a gate there and a sign, it's a stop sign there. So I want to know what time the park opens to vehicles. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fontaine. All public comment will be answered at the end of public comment. Maddie Mallory?
Good evening, Maddie Mallory. And my screen is also black, and it has been black for some time. And I thought it was just my computer, but it's not my computer. I haven't changed anything, and it's black now while I'm talking. So again, as Mrs. Holly referenced, we don't know how much time we have because we can no longer see the clock or see the council while we're talking. There are several things that I wanted to mention, and one is we're being told that we are operating a flat budget. And I'm looking at the definition now. It says a flat budget is also known as a no growth budget, and it means that the budget remains the same year over year with no increases in funding. And this implies that the same amount of money will be available for the organization to operate regardless of increased costs or new initiatives. So I'm confused about, the fact that we're always told that there's a flat budget, when I know darn well when I go to pay my taxes, I pay more money. So, again, to use that term flat budget, I'm not sure that that's what we're operating under. The other thing I noticed is that public comment after the questions and concerns are raised by the residents, Mr. Harris no longer responds, but the mayor does. And I'm just curious as to why there is a change in that. And we're no longer getting a response from the township manager, even though some of the concerns are directly related to his position. So, again, just curious as to why that has changed. The other thing is, and I know I'm getting old. I've lived here for 53 years. As far as paying for the pool, we had a pool for years. It's now closed, but again, I think we pay enough in taxes that at least the residents should have free pool access for the summer. And, again, this is something that really concerns me is that we pay taxes and then we still have to pay for the pool. And, it's something I think that should be considered. Let's see, was there something else that I had to talk on? I think that's it for the evening, and I'm not sure that we're following Robert's Rules of Order either, because some of the motions that are made, and those kinds of things, I'm not sure that we're following Robert's rules. But anyway, have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Mallory. User of Pixel 6.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, can you state your name and address, please?
Susan Lagambina, Fairmount Park.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, council and everybody else. I just had a quick question about the new park signs that I see around town. Because it was my understanding when we voted on these signs that they were going to be used for each park that's in our town. And I noticed some parks were left out. So my question is, why was Fairmount Park left out? Why didn't we receive a new sign? I said, I don't want to hear that it's because we have an HOA, because Fairmount Park consists of houses and townhouses. The townhouses are the only ones that have the HOA. HOA fees only go to cover our pool expenses, landscaping, and the snow removal of our sidewalks. So that's it. But every time there's a problem in Fairmount Park, the answer that I always get is, oh, well, you guys have an HOA, blah, 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 blah. HOA has nothing to do with it. So why wasn't Fairmount Park included in these new park signs is what I like to know. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Lagambino. Sarah Holly.
Good evening again, council. And I see the black screen is back, so I know it's purposefully done. All right, Samantha, respect is earned. It's not given just because someone has a title. Mr. Harris, I understand you are under a lot of pressure, but the vote at the last meeting authorized an increase in salary for employees. And a part of that vote was elected officers receiving a salary increase. So if the salary remains the same as it was last year, you need to do an official vote rescinding the vote from the last meeting. I mean, we're not stupid here in Willingboro. All right, let me do this quickly before I run out of my time. As a taxpayer and active resident of this township for approximately 50 years, I would like to express my deep frustration and strong objection to the recent 3% salary increase granted to council members. a raise that mirrors the increase awarded to full-time township employees, including essential workers like the crossing guard. Let me be very clear. This decision is not only tone deaf, but also indefensible. Let's just consider crossing guards who work approximately 80 hours per month in sometimes hazardous conditions, rain, snow, to ensure the safety of our children. They deserve every cent of their raises and more. Council members, on the other hand, are known to contribute approximately 5 hours per month and are not involved in the day-to-day operation of the township, according to the Hatch Act, which is a federal law under which this council is required to operate. The notion that these two vastly different levels of commitment and labor justifying identical compensation increases is insulting to both the workers and the intelligence of the taxpaying residents. The mayor in Willingboro earns $19,679.04. The deputy mayor earns $18,941.40. Each council member, the other three, receives $18,257.02. In 2016, when the automatic raises was voted upon, I distinctly remember Councilwoman Perron questioning the automatic raises. And Councilman Anderson stated that automatic raises has been frowned upon in the past. However, the squad decided to give themselves a raise at the second meeting after they were installed on council. What's even more troubling is the restructuring plan, which was presented by Tiffany during the same meeting. Note, she was overstepping her bounds. Any presentation of restructuring program is the sole responsibility of the township manager. In her presentation of restructuring the township, Tiffany presented the addition of new job titles and the rewriting of existing job description without any knowledge of the experience and tenure of current employees, which in my opinion is a blatant disregard for those who have dedicated years of service to this township. This moves appear to be arbitrary at best and disrespectful and demoralizing at worst. To add insult to injury, when I raised a valid and pointed question about these issues, I was told to be civil, which I've decided I'm not going to be civil. Let me remind you, taxpayers have every right and responsibility to question how their money is being spent. Civility does not mean silence. It does not mean blind compliance. It does not mean swallowing decisions that lack transparency, accountability, and common sense. Do not confuse firm, warranted criticism with incivility. Furthermore, it is highly inappropriate for Tiffany, not the township manager, to deliver the reconstruction of the township. The council does not manage door-to-door township operation.
Ms. Holly, your time is up.
Yeah, my time is up, but I'll be back next month to finish my statement. And Samantha, just to say, I am a disabled person. For you to tell me to come up there to a meeting is a violation of ADA. You need to talk to your lawyer up there about that.
Thank you, Ms. Holly.
Complaint.
Is there any other public comment? We have one in the courtroom, so we'll hold for now. Online.
How you doing?
Good evening.
My name is Mark Weston. I'm a resident here maybe about 5 decades, just about. Been here since like 73.
Can I have your street name at least?
I'm at 124 Middlebury Lane.
Thank you.
Okay. I just had heard, I can't substantiate it. I just wanted clarification on there's going to be doing some restructuring within the rec center. My concern is because I've worked there like about 20 years, 18 years as a volunteer and a paid vendor. And just want to comment if there is some restructuring. I would hope that if that is being discussed, that is great consideration given to the current management structure. I found as a vendor that in the last 3 or 4 years that things have improved a lot in communication, the programming, and I would hope that everybody's position is safe and secure. If it's not, I hope to hear something about it in public so we have a chance as residents to come up and speak about it. So that, that's kind of, my concern. I saw an advertisement, I think, acting for a director and some other positions, and that it was being open. So if you could possibly address that, I appreciate it. I think overall the rec center is doing a great job. I've had a great time and very appreciative of the opportunities that I'm given to be able to give back to my community. That'll be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weston. We'll resume online.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my
Can
name
I
is
just?
Sure. My name is Cherie Wilkins. I'm on Melbourne Lane in Millbrook Park. And I had two questions, and my apologies if you've already reviewed this information at the beginning of the meeting. But my first, I was seeking an update about the theater at the JFK Center. And then my second was in reference to the pools. And I know there was some discussion about that. I remember calling last year on June 20th, and the price for family pool memberships for the township went up from $160 to $500. It was listed for the family tags. And I was looking for an explanation last year, and I was told by a representative at the Recreation Center that last year in 2023, the township manager made a decision and residents really don't have a say in the determination of the cost for the pool tax per family. And I was just curious about the rate increase. And they told me at the time on June 20th, 2023, that the pool membership went up from $160 per family to $500 because it hadn't changed in some years, and it was supposed to change at each year. So I was just curious about what the pool memberships per family would be, because I didn't buy one last year because of the absorbent cost, and maybe a justification for the price increase if it is still $500 per family versus the $160 that it was in 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilkins. Linda Minkins?
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Can you state your name and address for the record?
Yes, Linda Minkins, Shetland Lane. I want to comment on the pool as well. Thank you, Councilwoman Perrone, for bringing up that topic. I am a senior citizen, and I take my grandchildren to the pool. I don't swim, but I have to be there to watch them. So if you can't support Willingboro residents being free, at least consider the senior citizens who watch their grandchildren and bring them to the pool. I don't bring my grandchildren pool all the time. I give them a break and they want to go. But I have to pay $5 as well as they do, and I'm just sitting there watching them. So if you can reconsider that and someone support us senior citizens and getting into the pool free, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Minkins. Gary Johnson?
Yes. Gary Johnson, 54 Gramercy Lane. I want to apologize up front, but I'm a bit of a foul humor. Today has not been one of the greatest days in my life. I've been having back pains for a while. I'm sorry to complain to you, but just I've had back pains now for a couple of weeks, which certainly hasn't made it enthusiastic for me to go out and mow the grass. The rain comes along and makes a swamp of a swale between my house and the neighbors, which my hand-push mower does not go through. So today my back was so bad I questioned whether I could even make it to work. I did, and some Tylenol and perseverance got me through the day, 10 hours. During that time, I got a call from my sister-in-law in Iowa saying that she was calling to say that she wouldn't be around much longer and she wanted to say goodbye. She has a heart condition, and the doctors say that she may not even survive the week. That certainly did nothing to cheer me up. And I'm not seeming to cry on people's shoulders, but it set me back on my heels. So I got through the day, I come home, and I have an ordinance violation saying, my grass needs mowing. No kidding. My back needs fixing too. It says I have to do this within 3 days. It ain't going to happen. It says if I don't get it done, they could come and do it and charge me for it. The last I went and looked at my money tree, it had no fruit on it. So I know I'm tired of living and scared of dying, but I'm also caught between a rock place that I can't afford to live and I can't afford to die. I will get the lawn mowed as soon as I practically can. There's more rain coming this weekend, so I don't know. I worked 10-hour shifts tomorrow and the next day and a 6-hour shift on Friday. It don't look promising, but I will get it done in due time. And I would just, at 87 years, I would just like a little sympathy in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Seeing no further public comment is now closed. All right, the first public comment we had was Esther Turner. Mr. Hall, would you be able to speak to the issue of do residents own their property or is that owned by the township?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Residents do own their property. It is not owned by the township. Typically, if you look at a deed, you might see something to the effect that says in the conveyance portion that the property consists of the land and all of the buildings and structures on the land. And that is typically what you might see in a deed.
All right, I hope that answers your question, Ms. Turner. Ms. Fontaine had a question about the hours of operation for Mill Creek and if there was reasoning behind the delay in opening today.
So technically, Mill Creek is open from dusk to dawn. And as the hours shift, dusk to dawn takes on a different component. Our DPW department, who used to come in prior to dusk, now comes in after the sun is up. So we have been in conversation with the police, and we are making arrangements for the police to more regularly open and monitor the closing of the park to make sure it is open from dusk to dawn.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Ms. Mallory had a question about the budget being flat and the meaning of that.
And thank you, Mayor, and I hope everyone can hear me, but one of the things that,
I think just need a little bit closer to the microphone.
thank you, one of the things that I really hope residents in Willingboro really grasp is that their tax bills are actually made up of 3 separate budgets. They are made up of the county budget, they are made up from the municipal budget, they are made up from the school district's budget. The township is the collector of all of the taxes. However, the total bill is comprised of 3 separate, distinct budgets. The municipal portion, which the mayor and the governing body keeps referring to as being flat, is exactly how you described it. It is year to year with no increase in revenues to provide the municipal services. However, if the school budget goes up and the county budget goes up, then you will see an increase in your tax bill. But that does not mean that the municipal portion of that bill has gone up. And that is the misunderstanding, or that I think needs to be clarified. So when the governing body is referring to a flat budget from Willingboro, they are talking about the municipal portion of your tax bill.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. And there are some issues that I will respond on. The ones that do not have municipal that require the administration response, some of them are just one-off questions. But thank you for that. And I do frame the public comment for Mr. Harris, and so that people online can follow the conversation as we're answering these questions.
Madam Mayor, with regards to Mr. Harris's response about the flat budget, the way that he is interpreting tax increase is not correct. Because yes, the taxes, we collect a bag of taxes and we distribute it where they need to go. So if the taxes are raised because our school budget is higher, then it's raised. We can't say that it's flat because the school district, it's all one budget. So it's not flat if it goes up.
It's not one budget.
It's not one budget.
The reason why I'm saying is because the taxpayers don't get to say they don't want to pay the school tax, but they'll pay this tax, right? When they pay the tax, it's quarterly. It's not broken up into, you pay this type of tax, school tax, this
It
month.
is. It is broken up
It's
that
all-
way.
But it's
on-
all one.
Yes, but it
it's
is
all one budget for
It
the
is
year.
It is one payment, but it is broken up on the tax bill
on the
for municipal, school,
Yes.
and county.
One payment. That's what I'm saying.
Right, it is
One
one
payment.
payment,
That's-
but
that's
it
what
is
she's
three
speaking about.
separate budget. It is three separate budgets that go into that. The municipal budget has not increased. The municipal budget has been a flat budget and even has decreased in 2 prior years.
I think, okay, so I think which Ms. Mallory is saying, that you're separating it as if it's not the municipal budget and the school budget, it's one budget.
It's not.
And
No, it's not
itemized
one
in
budget. The school board has their own
I
budget.
was just trying to clarify what my understanding of what she was saying. So
So
we
it's,
have to
it's like
belabor it.
if you have a mortgage and you make a mortgage payment and you make an escrow payment all in your mortgage payment, you're making one payment. But a portion goes to the mortgage company, a portion goes to the insurance company. They're
Yeah, I know
different
that.
elements.
That's what I'm saying, it's one
So it's the same
payment.
thing. We are collecting one lump sum of money for the school, for the county, and for the municipality. There are 3 budgets that we are collecting revenue for, and we disperse the monies to the county and the school.
Right, I know that.
Right. So we are not collecting one budget. We're collecting the totality of
Three.
some
It's
of
an
3
itemized.
budgets.
It's like you go to a restaurant, you ordered steak and chicken, but you're still gonna pay one bill, but it's steak and chicken. I get it. I'm
Correct.
saying it's itemized, but it's one budget. You're collecting taxes from the same people, and you're paying out what we're supposed to pay out.
It's one bill, but it's not one budget.
That's what I'm saying. It's one bill, one bill.
That's not
It's
what you said. You said it's one budget.
one bill is what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say then. Thank you.
Okay.
It's just one. It's not.
But they're
I get it. I get that. I think Ms. Mallory gets that too. That's all we don't have to
right, and
belabor it.
I just want to just clarify that the municipal budget has not increased. The municipal budget has been flat. The tax bill has increased due to increases of the other entities, but the municipal portion of the budget has not increased.
Okay, it's one tax, one bill, and guess what? It's been going up. So we can move on. I just wanted to, I was just.
But it's not going up due to the municipality.
It's the same community. It's Willingboro. It's one Willingboro. It's not separate Willingboros. We can move on. I just wanted.
It's okay.
Clarify.
I think I've explained it,
Yeah,
and
we can move on.
there are other ways that. Ms. La Gambino asked about Fairmount receiving a new park sign.
So the company that is manufacturing the signs is still manufacturing park signs and installing park signs. We have just begun. We are not finished. So their signs are coming and they will be installed.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Councilwoman McIntosh.
That would include Fairmount Park and Rittenhouse and.
That is correct.
all
The
the
Fairmount
parks
and
that
Rittenhouse and Country Club and Somerset and all of that. And we have, I'm sorry, and we have new signs coming into the entrances and, on Pennypacker there, that all of them are going to be changed.
What about Country Club?
Country Club is coming also.
So there are other parks that haven't been, they're installed, so it's not picking on Fairmount. Just want to make that clear.
No.
Okay.
Okay. All right, there was another question about the salary ordinance and, maybe Ms. Diggs can add some clarification, Mr. Harris, or,
So if Ms. Diggs wants to come and speak on it, she is more than welcome to. But as Ms. Holly clearly stated, that the mayor is making 19,679.04, which is what the mayor made in 2024 and what the mayor is making in 2025. And she outlined all of the correct salaries as well. When we originally crafted this ordinance, we did calculate percentage increases for the governing body. And the council specifically came back and said, we do not want raises in 2025. So you are receiving the same exact salaries that you were paid in 2024. And I don't know how to express it any differently. And I don't know what she's referring to when she's saying that we need to vote on changing the ordinance. You voted to introduce the ordinance in its entirety, and you just voted to adopt the ordinance in its entirety.
okay, thank you, Mr. Harris. Also, Ms. Holly, just as a point of clarification, at no point did I ask you to be civil. I did ask to be cordial when there were words very unprofessional and words said to our clerk as she was speaking. I did ask you to be cordial, and I also stated that anyone is allowed to come up to the building to participate in the meetings, not just you. It's open to the entire community. We provide a number of venues for residents to be engaged in our meetings bi-monthly. You can participate on Zoom. You can watch on YouTube via live stream. And you can also come up to the building or dial in to the phone number. So there are multiple ways to participate.
When she also asked about the American Disability Act, where if she cannot make it here and you asked her to come here, so she wanted to know about the American Disability Act as far as making it available to be able to see and see the time of her time of her meeting. Well, I'm sorry, when she's speaking, and because it's a black screen on their end, as Gary Laurie confirmed, it's black on their side. That's still an issue. So she's not able to travel and to come to the meeting. So with regards to that, is there anything we can, maybe the attorney could speak to with disability?
And as I just said, I did state that I provided all of the ways that people can engage in our meetings, and I did not personally invite her to come up here. I did state that our meetings are available also in person as well as online. Mr. Harris, is there any word on administration about the technical issue that was present earlier? Has that been fixed?
Sitting right here in this chair. So I don't know what the technical issue is.
Well, Gary, can you speak to
I
it?
understand.
I opened it on three different devices, on my personal cell phone, my work cell phone, my iPad. It was on my iPad on Zoom. The screen is clear. It's on YouTube. The screen is there. Open up
Was
my
it
work
black
phone.
before?
It was black before, but
The-
we corrected that, yes.
So he's saying he corrected it. It was black before, but I will tell you that I got more text messages that it's still black. So
Okay,
just letting you know.
I just literally, as public comment ended, I was still on it before it ended, and the screen's not black anymore.
Okay, I just got a text that said it's not fixed. Whoever basically what you're saying is not fixed. So
There's no
maybe
speakers right now, so it shouldn't be black anyway, because no one's speaking. Everyone in the council chambers is speaking right now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lowry.
welcome.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Just as part of the ADA,
The building is ADA compliant, correct, Mr. Harris?
Absolutely.
Okay, so when it comes to ADA and attendance in this building, we are compliant. So that's good.
And by law, we only have to provide in-person meetings. We, as a council, has decided to stream our meetings live and allow interaction via Zoom, which is not required by law. Mark Weston had a question about the restructure, and he just wanted to share his concern on that and asked us to give consideration to the current management of the recreation department. So thank you, Mr. Weston, for that. Ms. Wilkins asked for an update on the theater and the pools, and also she had questions on the family swim tag price. So I know we did talk about the theater project a little earlier, but can you just reiterate that, Mr. Harris?
So the seats in the theater are being installed or coming next week to be installed. We are moving forward with completion of the theater, and we hope to have the theater open and ready for productions probably in July. So other than that, I'm not really sure what questions she had specifically to the theater and JFK. What was part two?
The passes, the family passes. What's the expense of the family passes this year?
So all fees in Willingboro Township are established by ordinance. And in 2023, we did a review of our fee ordinances, and we increased some fees across the entire municipality. And that was one of them. You know, things cost money. You know, taxes go up and electricity goes up.
How much is it, sir?
And what's the 300?
For the family, it's $300, just because people can't hear her on the line.
Ms. Bolden, can you come up to the mic, please?
Good evening, Council.
evening.
So to add to what Mr. Harris was saying, yes, in 2023, we did go through our pricing for the ordinance. At that particular time, we did have the family pass at $500. It was brought to our attention that that was the new price, because it was $150 for umpteen years, I will say. So we did have to reassess that. But when it was brought to my attention, I said we do have to look at it because the family is supposed to be a savings. So what we did is we reassessed what the prices would be if the family consists of 5, and we based that on what an individual tag would be so that we can make sure that the price that we have for the family plan was less. So we did change the price from $500 to $300 because it was brought to our attention. So we did do a reassessment, and we presented new ordinance that you approve for the new price.
Okay. And while you're here, Ms. Bolden, if you could just share any thoughts on an impact if swimming was free for all residents, if there would be an impact to our aquatics program.
Yeah, so with that, again, as Councilwoman McIntosh has said, I was here when we were younger and we had the free passes, but those things were covered by grants. As we move forward, I don't think we would have to really kind of do a deep dive when you're talking about just opening it up to residents being free. I understand, I'm a taxpayer here too, but you have to have a plan as to what that looks like when you're identifying it. When we were in elementary school, then we could go to Levitt at the time, and that's where you would go for your pass, but it was like based on your classroom teacher, like all of those different things. There were a lot of things in place in order for us to kind of do that. So you would have to kind of look at all of those things to really try to identify all of the children within Willingboro. Sometimes, okay, if you're a Willingboro resident, your grandkids may stay with you for the summer. So then how are we addressing, all of those different things? How are we addressing the children that don't go to school in Willingboro, but they're still Willingboro residents? So it has to be a plan in place in order for us to really get to that piece. This year, I wouldn't even be able to go down that road because now we only have one pool. So even with the one pool, with us having to accommodate the town, people who come from the outside. You're talking about classes and lessons, family swim, all of those different things that we still have to kind of put a plan together just to accommodate what we currently have with Country Club. But again, I think if we're going to kind of go down that road of it being free, we have to visit this more than a year in advance in order for us to put things in place for us to identify who the residents really are.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bolden. All right, and I think that comment from Ms. Bolden also and Mr. Harris also speaks to Ms. Minkin's comment stating that she is a senior and she takes her grandchildren to the pool, and there is a cost for that. So I hope that that helps. Just add some context to what we're dealing with here. We are having discussions continually about our aquatic situation and looking for ways to move forward and address the aging pool system. Mr. Johnson had gotten a grass cut ordinance, and first I'd like to say I'm so sorry, Mr. Johnson, for everything that you're going through at the moment, your pain and the issues happening in your family with your sister-in-law. So my thoughts and prayers are with you. That grass cutting ordinance, I know our inspections department does work with residents. So Mr. Harris, can you shed some light on that?
So I am certain that whoever came by and left a violation on your door was not aware of your personal situations that you have been going through. But I also do believe that our staff here in Willingboro are not ogres, and we do have compassion. So if you would speak to Mr. Tunstall, then we can work something out and provide you additional time to get done what needs to get done. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, may I speak to that?
Yes, Councilman Anderson.
Mr. Johnson, today's your lucky day. It started early voting. So I'm going to send someone over there and take care of the cost of taking care of that yard. All right?
Thank you, Councilman Anderson.
Depends on who he's sending. Don't be calling DPW.
All right, was there any public comment that I missed? All right. Seeing none, we will move on to council comments. Councilwoman Perham.
I'm first, okay. So, council comment. I would like to speak to, again, we take. We collect taxes. The taxes do go up every year. You can't blame why it's going up. It's their fault. It's the school district's fault. That's why. I believe that we can offer free swimming for the residents of Willingboro. And what does that mean? That means you just don't make as much as you were making when you make the money of collecting another fee from the people who already live there. So you have to think about it like this. Let's not think about self-absorbing. Let's not think about giving ourselves a raise, another $100,000 for another person. Let's look at the people, the amount of people that are making over $100,000 for from this community, okay? And we're talking about for family. We can't find a way to think about how do we say, guess what? You paid taxes for so many years. Guess what we're going to do this year? It's free. You can swim with your grandchildren. It doesn't matter if you're a senior, if you're 16, you can come to the swimming pool and swim for free. And that means, yes, you don't make that revenue for that. I get what that means. But guess what? That's you giving back. Okay? Tried to do the Veterans Day parade. What was I trying to do? Buy food, come, celebrate, free. Memorial's Day, did we give food? Did we say, hey, let's celebrate? What do we give back? Because everything we do, we charge. The Jazz Festival, the people who live here are going to have to park their car if they decide to attend, a parking fee. They pay taxes. What do you give back? Community perks. What is the community perk from Willingboro? What do the taxpayers get back? Okay, we have the Easter egg Easter egg hunt, right? If you have babies, okay? But guess what? Everybody doesn't have children. So just start thinking about how can you give back? And it's not that difficult, because all you have to do is say, guess what? You're a taxpayer, your family, you got a family, and even if they have a family of 6, you get 4 passes free for the summer. Yes, we can. Yes, we can do that. And it's not complicated. We're all educated people up here, and I know that there's not one person on this council that can't figure out how to say, guess what, resident? You can swim for free. We know how to do it, but we got to stop thinking about ourselves. We got to stop giving more to ourselves and taking, and can't figure out how to say, guess what? You don't have to pay for this. We're going to look at the budget and say, yep, we're not going to make whatever it is, 80,000 for that, because we decided to say, you're free. Let's just do it. Try it out. You may, and we don't need a grant, because a grant comes from other people that say, hey, those people over there, they can't afford to do anything with themselves. Let's just, if we get the grant, we get the grant. But there's other ways to say, guess what? You can swim for free. It's easy. Just say the words. You pay taxes here, you get 4 tags for that family. You're free. Free. F-R-E-E. Simple. Now, as far as me, I'm Councilman Rebecca Perone. Next week, Tuesday, is election. I'm asking for your support. Yes, I'm asking you to support me and vote for me, Rebecca Perone. And thank you for coming out tonight.
Councilman Anderson?
Don't vote for him.
Just for the record, just to the record, just to piggyback off the comments, you know, Juneteenth is free, our music series is free, Easter egg hunt is free, Black History program is free, Borough Barbecue is free, Trunk or Treat is free, Jingle Jangle Jam is free. So just in case the residents didn't know, those are some of the free programs we offer. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program. All right, I just want to thank everyone for coming out. Congratulations, Councilwoman Perone, on becoming a grandmother.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, thank you.
Poor grandchild.
Grandma.
Congratulations to firefighter Michael Centrone for his dedicated service here to Willingboro. Congratulations to the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha. They had their bench installed on Saturday over at Mill Creek Park in the section that we've dedicated to Divine Nine. So I just want to say thank you for joining the Brothers of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. And this past week, we had the opportunity to have our golf tournament. It was an excellent event, very successful. I'll let the mayor give all the details. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Oh, Councilman Anderson, you can give any of the financial updates.
All right, so overall, we had about 96 golfers participate. Roughly 18 to 20 local businesses participate with $150 donations. They had their names on tee box signs and on the golf course. We had other sponsors. So I think it was a total of 20-something sponsors. And we raised, I believe, $29,800 and something for this event. So based on our calculations, once everything, expenses, everything have been paid, we're looking at roughly $9,800. And once the MUA gives us our money, we'll be at $10,000, in which we're looking to do possibly $2,500 for 4 students for scholarship. So this year was a huge, huge success. So I just want to say thank you for all the participants. Thank you to the committee members. Thank you for the council for supporting it, giving an opportunity. And we look forward to just growing it and seeing, you know, how far we can go with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. Councilwoman McIntosh.
Thank you, Mayor. First, just like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. But I do want to make it clear that this full council does do a great job with our administration and our employees of really trying to make sure that we are great stewards of our money. Everything is not free. Everything was never free. I grew up here, everything was never free. Let me be very clear about that. But we do have a lot of free events, as Councilman Anderson has indicated. Some things cost. Camp always costs, prior to now. But I do think we do great investments. Can some things be improved and shifted? Absolutely. I would support Councilwoman Perone. Let's investigate what that would look like, in terms of the pools being free. There's a shift. We don't have grants as it was indicated. So we can invest. I'm okay investigating that. I'm not okay with just making a a decision quickly, because as council, we have to overlook the whole thing. We have to fit all the pieces together. It's not just this one thing that we just like, oh yeah, we're going to make that free. There's a lot that goes into it, and that is our responsibility. And we work way more than 10 hours a month, trying to make sure that, we produce. So I do want to give a shout out to the full council, because I think we put in our time and our effort to make sure that we are good stewards of this township. I would like to give a special shout out to Dr. Worthy for bringing her insights. You got a lot of flack today, but you bring some of your insights, and everything comes before an open public and open. Every decisions there, you bring your insight. You talk to the township manager, but you bring your insights to the table for this township. But no decision is made in the dark. And I just want to make that clear to the public. Each one of us brings our insights, and I think all of us have great insights. But every decision comes forth before the public. So I don't want that to be misconstrued and misrepresented. Um, and our mayor, I think you're doing an excellent job. Great meeting today. You bring your expertise and insights too. So I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of y'all for what you bring to the table. But I think it's very disingenuous to try to portray your colleagues as not being on the up and up, when I think everyone is doing that. So that's all I wanted to say. Everyone have a great night.
Thank you, Councilwoman McIntosh. Deputy Mayor Worthy?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to underscore what Councilwoman McIntosh said about the work that this body does beyond just coming to a council meeting. The prep meetings alone are several hours long. If you have meetings with the township manager, those meetings are in excess of an hour. If you're trying to understand an issue, not that you are overstepping or imposing, but to understand. And a lot of the meetings with Mr. Harris, for me, are listening to hear his ideas, listening to hear what challenges are, listening to understand, because as leaders, if we don't understand what's going on, we cannot govern well. We have over 30,000 residents that we've been entrusted to serve. And in order to serve them well, we have to understand residents' perspectives, employees' perspectives, and the perspectives of our colleagues. So it's real easy to have, sound bites and clever quips. And I mean, that's easy. I mean, arguing is easy. Doing a show is easy. I grew up in show business. I mean, that's easy. Improv is easy. What's difficult is figuring out how to solve the problem, asking the hard questions, collaborating, putting in the time behind the scenes, not just standing up and shouting across the dais to your colleagues. That is just not productive, and it's not getting us any closer to achieving our goals. But I'm here for it. I was spent some time in DC over the weekend and went to some shows. Just celebrated 30 years with a group, Knock on Wood Dance Studio. And so it just reminded me, in scene. And so then we're back to business. That's how I just take it all like that, because if you get caught up in the nonsense and the rhetoric, it can detract you from the real work, which is serving Willingboro. Also, I want to share, in the spirit of the performing arts and theater, Willingboro High School did an incredible job with Mean Girls. I got to go see their performance at the high. And Memorial Middle School did Annie Jr., and that was incredible. I am so excited about the talent that is up and coming in Willingboro. And they may not be showstoppers per se, but it's coming back. It's coming back. And the talent is here. The students are here. The Performing Arts Center in JFK will be the icing on the cake. I'm looking forward to see what Mr. Farr is going to do year over year with the program at Willingboro High School. It has grown tremendously. I'm super excited about that. The career days across town that I got to participate in last week were so fulfilling, listening to the vision of these students, what they want to do, what they see for their future, who they're becoming. It's tremendous, and it's encouraging to hear, and it's what compels me to continue to say we have to do better with our students. And if it means adding literacy and decoding to a recreation program during the summer, sign me up all day, every day, so our children can read and decode and go off and achieve these goals that they want to accomplish. When children are telling you, I know that I'm not reading well, they're crying out. They're telling you, I know I'm below my grade level and I want to move up a level. They're willing to do the work, and I'm here to support that. Also, Mr. Harris, I didn't get to ask you this during unfinished business, and I didn't want to be out of order, but I did want to have a discussion later about the pricing for those signs in the community. If businesses want to buy ad space, what that formula will look like. I'm not overstepping and designing the analytics behind it. I'm not setting the price. I'm simply just, asking what the pricing will be, what that model will look like. And finally, when people in our municipality retire, could you please make sure council's invited? I was so disappointed that I didn't get to go to Centrone's retirement, because I've worked alongside him and supported a lot of his events, but I just saw it on social media. So if you could just make sure that council is invited, or at least made aware of when the ceremonies will be, so if we're available, we can support that. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for all your work that you do behind the scenes and sitting in these meetings. I'll continue to support you as best I can over here, but I appreciate your countenance and your disposition as you navigate very treacherous waters sometimes. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Worthy. Final comments before we go into executive session. First and foremost, I do want to thank everyone that participated in the inaugural Mayor's Golf Classic. It was a phenomenal event, and the monies raised will go to Willingboro students to help them further their education, whatever that may be, whether it is continuing education in college or in the trades. We want to make sure that our students have the resources that they need to go out into the world and excel. I hope that they will use the funds wisely and then bring their talents back home to Willingboro and help us be better because of them. We're very proud of them, and I want to give a special shout out to Councilman Anderson, who did a tremendous job organizing that. Without him, it would not have happened. So thank you, Councilman Anderson, for all your hard work. Also, I want to thank the rest of council for supporting the initiative as it went forth. The administration, thank you, Mr. Harris, Mr. Lowry, Ms. Jackson, Ms. Carmichael, Ms. Pena, for all your hard work in making sure this happened. The Golf Classic Committee, Ms. Lindsay Harvey, Ms. Price, Ms. Peppers, Ms. Castro, Mr. Davis, Mr. Timmons, Deputy Mayor Worthy, and Councilman Anderson. I know the hours of work that you put in those Golf Classic meetings, making sure that Mr. Tunstall, sorry, Mr. Tunstall, on the committee. You're on here. On the committee. The New Foundation. Will y'all let me finish reading my paper, please? Got all the names here. Just let me finish reading. The New Foundation, Mr. Eccles, Mr. Dennis Tunstall, Del McMillan, LeBryant Wright, Jermaine March, Ed Tyson Sr., and Carlos Enriquez. Thank you for being our partner in this. We would not have been able to ensure that those monies would be available for the scholarship winners without the New Foundation. So thank you for agreeing to partner with us. We had a few celebrity guests that were there, some former NFL players. So thank you to Fred Baxter, Mike Rosner, and Urban Fryer for coming and supporting Willingboro. We had a few top tier sponsorships: Alimo and Associates, Pannoni and Associates, McMenamin, Scotland and Bowman, PSE&G, Bowman and Company, Remington and Vernick, Zeller and Wilnisco, Duckett Entertainment, High Rollers, Lee's Pristine Clean, and Willingboro Township. Of course, because it was our event. But thank you to all our top sponsors. And then we had a number of hole and golf cart sponsors. All of our sponsors play a tremendous part and a tremendous role in making sure that we met our goals for this event. So Barbers Inc., Kish Creations, Educating Kids Consulting, the Honorable Nat Anderson had his own whole Lee's Pristine Clean, Seafood Haven, the WMUA, Edu Sports Academy, Sun Island Barbecue, ATAP, the Underground Railroad Museum, CSG Law, Marilyn Bell Agency, and special thanks to Marilyn Bell Agency for all of your design work in the media that was used for that event. We look great. You made us look great. So thank you for your hard work. New Foundation, Accents Barbershop, The Beloved Project, James Gray Printing, Gregory Eccles, the 29th District Representative, and Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. Thank you. We had a few other noted sponsors, Pepsi, Corona, and TD Bank, and everyone that attended, all of the golfers that showed up. We just want to thank everyone for making this possible. We have grand ideas for expanding this event and challenging other mayors to join in this golf classic with us here in Willingboro. So please look forward, and this will not be the first or the last one. I also wanted to say congratulations to Firefighter Citron for all of his years of service. Thank you, and I still look forward to seeing you in the band here in town. As it was said previously, we do have lots of free events that happen in town. As Ms. Jackson stated earlier, to stay up to date on those events, please sign up for our Willingboro Connect app that is free, and the Willingboro Weekly that is free, to keep you up to date on all of the events that go on here in Willingboro. There are a number. Speaking of free events, the Friday Night Live series is underway. The next one will be June 13th, Friday, June 13th. We have had 2 already, so thank you to our local talent, New Beginnings and Deani Starr. Events were amazing, and it's always great that we highlight and showcase Willingboro talent at our events that are free at the amphitheater. So thank you to everyone that comes out and supports, our food trucks that come out, our DJs that support, and the performers. Also, just on a closing note, I do want to thank all my council members for your comments tonight. It's not always easy. It's not easy being up here. We don't always agree. Sometimes we have disagreements, but that makes good government. It's not for us to always be on the same page, always agree. Sometimes a different point of view will highlight a blind spot. Sometimes a different perspective will add to benefits in Willingboro. But one thing that at least I am committed to doing is making sure that I'm using sound judgment and decision making and data-driven decisions as we figure out what's best for the residents in Willingboro. I know we have a lot of meetings. Sometimes the meetings are long. Sometimes we may be distracted during the meetings and not engaged fully in the conversation. And I think that's something that is important to highlight, that being engaged in these conversations, when you agree to something, when you when we have these discussions about the future of the township, it's important to be present, so that we know what we're agreeing to and we don't forget later. Also, it's important to make sound decisions and not just shoot from the hip because it's election trying to get a quick win. We are elected and charged with doing what's best for Willingboro residents. We'll continue to do that as a body. And as was said, early voting has started. It is going at the Willingboro Public Library from today until the 8th. And then Election Day is on June 10th. So we look forward to everyone coming out and showing, using their vote and their voice in the election. Elections are not just here, but they give us the ability to advocate strongly on higher levels, on the state, on the federal level, for the funding that we need and funding that can expand and benefit many programs here in Willingboro. So by you voting, it gives us greater power, a greater voice, and more access to resources. So I encourage you all to come out and do that over this time period. Madam Clerk, we do have executive session.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. With that being said, Resolution 2025-153 is a resolution authorizing a closed executive session in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Councilwoman McIntosh.
And this executive session is going to be for contractual matters. Councilwoman Perone.
It's important that when you have discussion that you have an individual thought. The fact that the three of you have never had an individual thought.
Councilwoman Perone,
that's
we are in the middle of a vote.
That is the problem.
Councilwoman Perone,
Really
we are in the
not
middle of roll
one
call.
topic that
Councilwoman
never had a
Perone.
difference opinion
Councilwoman Perone.
from Councilman Worthy.
Councilwoman Perone,
That
we
is
are
the
in the
issue.
middle of roll call.
That is the issue that's on the
Councilwoman
floor. And
Perone,
yes,
we are
the
in the
swimming
middle
pools
of roll
can be
call.
free. The
Councilwoman
swimming pools
Perone,
can
we are
be
in the
free.
middle of roll
Okay?
call.
You can't
Councilwoman
talk-
Perone, we are in the middle of roll call. Councilwoman Perone, we are in the middle of roll call. Madam Clerk.
That's my response.
Madam
That's a
Clerk.
difference of opinion. Your own
Madam
opinion,
Clerk.
Mayor. You don't have to
Madam
agree with
Clerk.
Councilman Worthy all the time.
Madam Clerk.
That's my response.
Councilman Anderson. Councilwoman McIntosh.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy.
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But it does kind of suck sitting out here waiting for the. I know. No, but it will be. If there is anything to discuss, we'll talk about it. I know. Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
We need a motion to return to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Worthy, seconded by Councilwoman McIntosh.
Councilwoman McIntosh?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy?
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield?
Yes.
Thank you. Did you hear that, or would you like me to say that?
Microphone.
For the record, this is a continuation of Resolution 2025-153, resolution authorizing closed executive session in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act.
Thank you.